Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Stutzig from Stutzig Records titled Beach and Sunshine Dance Remix. And if we switch over to here, we've got the full emojis on display for the title. Imagine it's summer and you're the first to step on the dance floor. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go.
Hey, oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We started to the summer, we partied to the night. Bacardi, Coke, beach and sunshine. We started to the summer, we partied to the night. Bacardi, Coke, beach and sunshine. Girls in bikinis, boys in shorts, sunscreen, coat chains, and hot girls. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow.
Got a little bit of auto on the vocals. It suits the synths and the EDM-ish kind of vibe though. I dig it.
Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Went to Santa, music from the speakers. People who dance and have fun.
It's fairly simple to understand what the track is about.
Yes, it should be. Yes, it should be. We started to the summer, we partied to the night. Bacardi, Coke, beach and sunshine. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow.
So like I get it's the party vibe. We have the instruments in it and we have like the stabby kind of perky basses and the drums are nicely sidechained and stuff like that. You know, there's positives for sure.
Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Girls in bikinis, boys in shorts, sunscreen, coat chains, and hot girls. Girls in bikinis, boys in shorts, sunscreen, coat chains, and hot girls. Went to Santa, music from the speakers. People who dance and have fun. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow.
I got a bit with the snares, bit of filtering there to get rid of the high frequencies. It's kind of like a DJ that you can go wah, and it lets more of the high frequencies through. It's cool.
Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Party in Mallorca, party in Hawaii. We dance like there's no tomorrow. We started to the summer, we partied to the night. Bacardi, Coke, beach and sunshine. Girls in bikinis, boys in shorts, sunscreen, coat chains, and hot girls.
As someone who does DJing myself, right, I appreciate the concept of an extended mix. It can be cool to have an extended mix to be able to allow more time for a DJ to be able to go between sets to sort of introduce it into a mix and everything like that, because sometimes it can just be a little bit too short a time between tracks when you transition, even if you've got like a 4-track deck. We need to let these sort of tracks simmer a bit. It would have been cool to maybe switched up some of the lead lines in various parts of this. I think it's a well-produced track, and it's got the fundamentals adhered to. It embodies the mood of what you want from this.
Girls in bikinis, boys in shorts, sunscreen, cold drinks, the hot girls. When to set up music from the speakers, people will dance and have fun. Yes, so it should be. Yes, so it should be.
Okay, yeah, I get it. I mean, it follows a lot of the staples of early 2010s EDM, and like I can understand why it's trendy and fashionable in regards to because welcome to the conclusion. I'm talking about this track. What was it called? It was titled Beach and Sunshine Dance Remix. I'm just quickly going to do my scoring, and I'll be right back. So there'll be the scoring down here now. If you can see that. I think I gave this track an overall score of 7.1, so it's about a 7 out of 10. For me, that means that a track is well made. It's very conservative. The song, I think it's about the pleasure of being out there in summer and partying and getting drinks and being around people and just having a really good time. I think that that's cool. It's a cool thing to write a song about. I'm sure there'll be people who appreciate and vibe with that. It like succeeds at doing what its story is trying to represent in the music and everything like that. So that's great. And the vocals are tight, they're charismatic, they're energetic. We clearly are fully into it. There's a lot of energy there, and I think it's in a really good place. I think that a lot of what we're trying to do here is repeated to a point where it's like we understood the concept within the first minute or two. And I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, it is an extended mix, so you're trying to sort of like give more of the same hook lines and stuff, but I don't think you would have gotten away with it nearly as much in a regular mix. This could have easily been like a 2 or 3 minute track. I mean, again, I understand for like DJing purposes and stuff like that, if you're trying to make it like a club mix or something like that, but yeah. The vocals had some interesting melodies there. It could have been cool to mix around with some harmonies, but I also understand that we might just want to be trying to keep things simple in that regard, so it's fine. The track at 4.5 minutes there. To be fair, a lot of extended mixes are far longer than this. I think it's because there is typically more variation in the structure. We had builds, we had verses and drops. And we had variations of how the different instruments were interpreted, like especially the drums. It was floating on the drums and stuff like that, as well as the piano parts there. And we messed around with filters and all that kind of stuff. A lot of what made this track interesting was the studio production. I scored the studio production highly because I thought it was very good. If I talk about a few of the individual instruments, I thought the piano was played well. There were some interesting melodies there. They were perky and upbeat, and they had that kind of party, kind of celebration vibe there, so that was cool. They're very fashionable within their house genre there. I think that there was a great sort of resonance with the drums in the lower end there, a great sort of mix of different kick and snare patterns there within obviously a focus on the chord note grooves there, but we weren't afraid to sort of build those snares up and kind of include them in a way that is relevant for the genre, with the cymbals and crashes and everything like that nicely sort of staged there. So that was good too. The bass, was nice and perky, and it had a great sort of punch to it, and it harmonized and niched nicely within the mix. And ultimately, it was a track where I think that we had the core things covered there. There might have been some other sort of synthy kind of leads there very occasionally, but those were the main fundamentals within it. To me, the track flowed so neatly that it was also almost a detriment. I think that in regards to the structuring, I feel as if even if it was an extended mix, you could have potentially had more of a range there. You could have changed up a chord progression later on. You could have added something new at that halfway point just to kind of split the two halves. And that's just simply because I'm greedy, and when I know that someone has made a track well, I expect more. And that doesn't mean that they should do that. But if I'm just being transparent as a music reviewer, I feel that that's fair, I think that you could have potentially tried to build on more of what the party vibe was like. Maybe if you're talking about a blanket club experience, talk about your own personal experience with it, It's stuff like that. Although I think that it's good to give a listener a little bit more credit and to not just expect the listener to go, how do I describe this? I think it's good to challenge the listener a bit and give them another angle to the story and allow them to become focused on it. Because when a track is mixed well, you can hear the lyrics clearly. And if you say these things, like lyrics aren't meaningless. Lyrics have purpose. And we repeated those lyrics quite a lot, and that's why I would have wanted more sort of like variation, at least and a bit in the section in the middle that could have been different than what we had, just to kind of sort of spice things up or add a bit of diversity there. But aside from that, I think things were pretty well handled in the mix. I don't really have any massive complaints about it. The theme overall was dun 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 dun. You know, like it's very much like a lot of the stuff I heard from the early 2010s. There, we're not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel. I don't know if we're necessarily trying to create something original or unique, but what we are trying to do is trying to make something that we think sounds good, and I assume it's something we're trying to create for a set audience who's already into this kind of music, and I think in that regards we succeeded. I don't know, having listened to Christian's work in the past, I don't know if it really is a song that, how do I say it? I want to say this in a way where it's very diplomatic. I don't know if it's a song that I would consider, that I would hear it and think that's definitely Christian Stutzig, because I think that it's just so important to try and establish a sense of brand with music nowadays, especially if you're doing it in a commercial way. But I nonetheless appreciate the effort put in here to make a track that sounds great, suits the genre well, and well done. I think the mood is just very much I'm at the club, and you know, like the upbeat, non-challenging sort of chord progressions there, the different drum patterns which are very sort of is similar to a lot of the kind of like you know, you have extra intensity continue and then kind of go down again, and you kind of have these ebbs and flows there, and yeah, it's catchy, it's poppy. The studio recording, mixing and mastering was tight. It was great. I liked the presence of the vocals in the mix. I thought that the keys, the bass, the drums, synths, and everything else in the mix sounded dope. There are some occasional other plucks or ups or anything like that. There might have even been some rises or something like that in the background, as well as a sub layer there. The stereo field was nice and full of instruments. Things were nice and leveled within the frequency spectrum as well, with no resonant frequencies, and the glowing of the tracks overall was satisfactory. There was a bit of dynamic range to this. Things were not the same loudness all the time. With that said, though, things were compressed in a way which made the track loud, but it didn't suffer through pumping, because the bus compression limiting was handled. I mean, effectively, this is my review of this track from an actor named Christian Stutzig of Christian Stutzig Records, titled Beach and Sunshine Dance Remix, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show us some love via the various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as eat the hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spider Hands out.